If you're looking for a Black Friday deal, I might be able to help. I want to start off by saying that this video is not sponsored by anybody. I bought the laptop with my own money. On the return on investment, actual practical usage, how it's going to affect the just straight communication and business flow. So I kind of think of those things. So most of the laptops, or I'd say many of the laptops I've purchased over the last decade, has been guilty of that waiting thing. And I'm talking $3,000 Dells all the way down to the, I don't know, most of them been Dells, XPSs, et cetera, 2-in-1s. And there's a lot of waiting involved. So for my criteria, when I typically look for laptops or computer parts or whatever, I usually have like 4 criteria, maybe 5. Price, that is where most of us start. What kind of graphics card does the thing have? Okay, what kind of CPU, what kind of brain does it have? Okay, how much stuff can I put on it? What's its storage? And can I upgrade it, or am I kind of stuck with it? Most vendors for years have not really made upgrading things, especially laptops, easy. And so that's one of my requirements. Secondary for me is battery life. How much does it weigh? I'm a kind of a big guy, so weight's not a huge thing for me. And color. You really don't walk into a business meeting with a new client or something with a really crazy, over-the-top, whatever, alien maybe laptop, or whatever brand. It doesn't matter. They've all got them. There's Omens or whatever, and they may not be business type laptops. Will they help you get your stuff done faster? Yeah, but I try to find something right in the middle. There's a balance I try to find. Not always successful, but we try. So some details on what we're talking about here. This is an Asus Tuf Gaming. Comes into this box. I've already opened it. This isn't a box opening or anything. It's Asus Tuf Gaming A15. Has 8 cores, 16 threads. It's a Ryzen 7. It's one of the brand new CPUs. I purchased it at on actually Bestbuy.com. I actually got these as a Black Friday, early Black Friday deal on October 16th. I spent $7.99. They're normally $9.99. It's still on special right now for a Black Friday as of this video, and today's the 23rd of November. The model I have is FA, that's Fox Alpha 506 IV, or in other words 4, Roman numeral 4. The rest of that you don't need to know. That's all you need to know for this one. FA 506-4. The features, it's got a 15.6-inch screen. Cat food. My cats have been here while I was setting up. It has a 1920 by 1080 resolution. It has a 3rd generation AMD Ryzen 7 4800H, which is extremely fast. It comes with 8 gigs of memory, a 6-hour battery. It comes with an NVIDIA 2600 GPU, 512 gigabyte hard drive, NVMe drive. And so how does this work with my expectations? Okay, let's start with the first one, price. In my experience, I found the following. A decent laptop is going to run into place between $599 and $999. The best values I've found are typically around $799. The closer to $599 the price is, the sooner it's going to be replaced. The sooner you're going to be needing to replace it. And if you go under $599, that's probably even more true. The closer to $999 the laptop is, the more likely it's last year's model and they're trying to get rid of it. It's not necessarily a better quality because the price went up. There's a lot of times, it's still that old kind of rule of thumb. If you go into the store, stuff on the end caps or the stuff they're trying to get rid of, and as you move to the middle of the aisle, That's where you usually find your best buys. Try this out. See if your experience is the same. If you know this is true, comment below. Give us some examples on how it works out for you. So, if you take a look at the balance of power, the perceived speed, because that is subjective, not just benchmarks, and how many years I plan to use a laptop at the $799 price range. For me, usually $799 will buy me a laptop for 2 years. I can turn around and sell it for at least half of its value. And so I'm spending between $4,000 and $5,000 for a $1,000 laptop, because I usually get them on sale around this time of year, around Black Friday, Cyber Monday time of year. So let's look at some of these, my reasonings for this. 15.6-inch screen. Why? Smaller than that, they're kind of tight keyboard and such to work on, and they may not be comfortable, especially for long distance. Do people do it? Yes. I'm not really comfortable with that. You can take it on a plane. It'll fit in the area of the seat. I used to have a 17. There was no way. I've had two 17 inches. There's no way you would get it between those sections of the seat. 1920 by 1080. Somebody's going to say, but that's an old standard. Why not 4K? Well, for laptop use, really there's not a lot of practical usage with 4K. Now, if you're in video content creating or something of those sorts, yeah, you're probably going to want 4K to be able to show or work on the stuff that you're doing. But for most business type use, 1920 is perfect. It's also one of the most common resolution sizes, even still today, for today's computers. The AMD 3rd generation 4800H, it's extremely fast, real fast. You didn't get to see that. I'm going to shut this down real quick. I'm actually going to let you see that I'm doing that. Power. The one in the middle, shut down. I'm going to let it shut down. It's extremely fast. One of the first things you can do to check your CPU in your storage as far as how fast it is. Remember that long wait we were talking about earlier? Keys are all off. This is off. And more cat food. Yay. So 5, 4, 3, 2. Less than 20 seconds. I'm on a desktop. It's fully usable. Highly responsive. I can sit there and bang, hit that, click, whatever. 20 seconds. Gets rid of a lot of that waiting, stress on the one, irritation on the other way, and that helplessness thing on the other. Laptop comes with 8 gigs of memory. Well, why not more? Today, people are putting like all this memory in their computers. 8 gigs is plenty for a lot of applications. Windows only needs 2. 2 gigs of memory for a 64-bit version of Windows. That still leaves you 6 for software and other functions. Previous version of Windows, and that's Windows 10, by the way. Previous version of Windows, you may have needed more. And if you didn't, it would swap it out, slow it all down. We're not going to get into all that in this video. This is a quick overview. 6-hour battery. A lot of companies tout all-day performance. Well, this is one of those compromises I'm willing to make. I have not validated how long this battery lasts. I have not tested it. I'm just going with what the specs are from the manufacturer and what was presented on Best Buy's website. But I know for a fact I've let this thing just sit there running without a cord. It's gone for enough hours I forgot about it. So for most people, the included battery is more than adequate. Unless you're going to spend, like if you're in the middle of a large auditorium, like if you're away at a conference, and then you need to be able to charge. But this laptop charges fast too. Keep that. That's one of its benefits. If you're in one of the situations, I would maybe even switch to a tablet, an iPad, or something at that point. NVIDIA 2600 GPU, a gaming GPU. It's a gaming graphics card. The benefits for business, it accelerates stuff like videos. It accelerates all. There's a lot of things where it's offloading from the CPU, so it allows both of them to perform the way they're supposed to without somebody trying to do more than they need to be doing. Also, the benefit of the NVIDIA GPU is you can run software put up by NVIDIA that can remove background noise. You can also remove backgrounds on videos. If this was that type of video, I could have all this wiped out or whatever behind me. And it has AI functions inside the graphics card, which can also perform other functions. The 512 gigabyte NVMe drive. As we already found out when we booted up, the computer is completely usable in 20 seconds. So that's the advantage of a modern NVMe drive instead of the older standard drives, which some people are still putting in laptops. For instance, if you're starting with a 500 gig, it's 512, but we'll just go 500, and you install Windows, you do all the updates as of today, which gives you to the 20H2 version of Windows. All of that and all the drivers run everything in here and all the Asus software that you can optionally install. We're going to be discussing in another video. Takes up only 45 gigs. So you still have 450 gigs to put Office and everything else. And somebody says, okay, how much does Office take? Office takes around 4 gigs. So you still have a lot of storage left on this device. Some of the new games that are coming out will take up more space on the drive than all of Microsoft Office, all of Windows 10, all of the drivers, and you still got room. And there's plenty of room. For most people, if you're just doing content, not content creation, but if you're just doing office work and such, plenty of room. And we'll talk about these in other videos in the future. My understanding of a laptop, it's a data collection and a data transfer tool. It's not, my wife would argue, it's not your everyday computer. I only keep on here what I need to accomplish the thing that I'm doing. When I go on vacation, it's a wiped, go on vacation, grab images from wherever we're going, Smoky Mountains or whatever, drop them on here, and then when I get home, pull the images off and restore the image. Put it right back the way it was. That's my usage. There again, more videos in the future. We have a lot of videos we're looking at doing. So what's missing? I'm not just going to try to tell you all that. I want you to have a good understanding. The whole point and concept of this channel is I want you to understand kind of what I'm thinking and why I'm thinking it, to give you maybe a tool that you can use to look and think at things that when you're going to go shop or when you're trying to consider what to buy, this or that. First thing that's missing is a touchscreen. If you've paid attention, a lot of manufacturers are getting rid of those. It caused a lot of confusion when you went to tablet mode. If you're in tablet, Windows 8 was really bad about it. It didn't know how to get out of it, and it just confused people. If you're any kind of a novice, even a normal user, it could be frustrating. Okay, which mode am I in? How do I get this thing to switch? And I want to type on a keyboard, but it won't. Now it's making me type on a screen, and all that. It's kind of gone away. I don't really care. I hardly ever use that. I might have used it for a total of 30 or 40 minutes across 5 or 6 years. So for me, that's nothing I cared about losing. It was fine. Goodbye. 4K screens. It drains your battery faster for 4K resolution. And for a laptop this size, what good is 4K? You can't really. You see the monitors. You can see a couple of the monitors. Well, there's the other one. 4K monitor, widescreen. It's got a 35 whatever by 14 by whatever. I'm not wanting to deal with all that on here. I just want to be able to do what I need to do with this one. And when you do 4K, so the first thing you usually have to do is go in and change the settings so that you're increasing all the font sizes and all the icons 150 to 200%. It's kind of defeating the whole point and purpose of the 4K unless you just want to watch videos in 4K. Okay, that's a good argument. But for me, 1920 is fine. I'd rather have the battery life. So that's what's missing. So what's kind of lacking? This is a Best Buy only model. You can only get this particular configuration with the 8 gigs of RAM. They take it down to the 45 watt hour of batteries, which gives you 6 hours. They decrease memory to 8 gig. I think I just said to 8 gigs. Let's see, 45. And what was the other thing? There's no second hard drive. There's multiple configurations, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. And actually, I've got a whole video to do right next about this. First thing, memory. I like having lots of memory. I don't want to wait for stuff to get cached to the hard drive because that's the slowest part of the computer. I would rather just sit in memory. If I'm doing something, I just want it instantly accessible. There we go again, that waiting. And it's not that I'm impatient. It's just, well, I'm trying to get things done. I want to get it done. Wireless AX or Wi-Fi 6. This has Wi-Fi 5, which is wireless AC. It's nice, but it's Wi-Fi 6 has been out for over a year and a half, maybe even coming up on 2. And the chipsets aren't but a couple dollars difference. There again, upgrade video. That's coming. Storage. This has 3 locations for storage inside it in its current configuration, which is one of the benefits of the smaller battery. You have the NVMe drive that's put in the computer. You have another NVMe slot that you can put another one of those drives in, one of those really fast drives. And you also have an SSD slot, which is usually what people put in the lower end laptops, which is one of the reasons why you wait on laptops, is those SSD drives, because they're really, really slow. In a follow-up video, I'm going to show you how to upgrade it. So I've already upgraded the other one, mine. This is my wife's. No, this one's mine. This is one upgraded. Hers is over there. I was running the stream yesterday off of her little tiny laptop that we had 500 people going live on YouTube trying to find where to find the product in my live streams that I've been doing here recently. I was running it off a laptop for a while. That kind of lets you know that if it can sit there and scrape 50, 60 web pages every few seconds and put a video signal out to the web, these are probably more powerful than enough to do what you're needing to do. Speaking of future videos, I've already benchmarked this. I've already upgraded this. Did it need upgrading? No. Did I want to upgrade it? Yes. And I've already explained why. I like to have a little bit extra buffer. And spoiler alert, I upgraded it for less money than you would have bought the model with those items in it. I think I upgraded for around $200. I put AX wireless in it instead of AC. I put a terabyte NVMe drive on it. And I went from 8 gigs to 32 gigs of memory. And I took my 8 gig stick out and put it in my wife's laptop, so now she has 16. So I effectively upgraded 2 computers because the parts out of here were free that I gave her. Or should I say the memory stick. And I put gaming memory in here, 32 megahertz. 3200 megahertz, I should say. Well, there again, another video. Don't want to spoil it all. Side benefits. One of the main things I use a laptop for is when we travel. And I have a very strange sleeping schedule. Sometimes I wake up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. The last thing my wife wants is me sitting there and trying to turn lights on to see the keyboard. Well, if you notice, this lights up. You can change the colors or whatever you want. It's doing its default thing, but you can actually change the colors and you can do it for whatever's come for you. In the military, we understood red would keep you from losing your night vision. You can do this light blue lighting. Well, I know about blue light. We've all heard about it. But there's things that you can do so you can see this keyboard at night when a very low light situation. And also just during your daily usage, it just might make it more pleasant to use. Keyboard, by the way, is really nice. It's not the spongy, bendy, as you notice. Decent constructed. It's an Asus Tuf. You're not going to get a lot of anything out of it. It's pretty. It lives up to its name, in my opinion, at this point. I reserve to correct all of this in about a year when I've used it for a while, and we come back to that. So backlit keys, you can do RGB coloring if you're in the RGB, or you can turn it off. Really simple. Don't have to worry about it. The battery, for me, the side benefit, it lasts 6 hours according to the manufacturer already. Okay. So it gives me the option of either doing a 9-hour battery or have that SSD where I can put an SSD in there that's got, I don't know, 4 terabytes if for some reason I needed that. So it gives you options, upgradability. That's one of my prerequisites. I want to see what we can do with it. I could also, if for whatever reason, buy a 9-hour battery. They cost around $120. I think I just checked. And that would still have this value, this laptop, cheaper to upgrade it to the specs of a $1,300 model for less. In fact, I think if I did the battery, I would have spent somewhere in the neighborhood. It would have been less than $1,100. Anyway, so we'll back up a little bit. Camera's got a 30-minute timer. I didn't realize I was going that long. Have to figure out how to judge that. I'm not going to get all the specs. I'm trying not to get too tech in this channel, even though I have more than enough degrees and experience. I could really go crazy with it. And sometimes we might even. Depends on the video and what our needs are. But basically, with the battery, it's configured the Bestbuy version. It gives me the option of upgrading 9 hours or putting a 4 terabyte or whatever SSD in here if you need that much version. I don't think you should have that much stuff on a laptop. But we also buy phones with an insane amount of storage on those too, which you probably shouldn't be using. But, well, that's more into the privacy stuff. We'll talk about some other time. Another benefit of this is it's easily upgradable. We already talked about storage. We already talked about memory. I've got a video. I've already shot it, a lot of it, to show you how I upgraded this. So far, it's checking all of my boxes. Some of the complaints that I've seen on the web is not just the Bestbuy model. This model, period, may get a little warm somewhere up in here, up in this area, but underneath. The way the cooling works, which we'll look at that when we do the video, I'm going to say basically you got a single set of cooling rails. And you have little fans on each side. There's not a lot of airflow, but then again, it's a thin laptop. It does not get warm under normal use. You're going to have to push this to get it to be warm. Right now, there's absolutely no noise. Right next to the microphone, there's no noise coming out of this laptop, and it's on. It can sound like a little plane taking off when you get this thing under a full load, and you really start pushing it. But also, if you're doing that, you're probably going to be aware that even if you're in a tower and you're pushing it, the fans are going to kick up. They're going to try to do what they need to dissipate the heat and get it away from the components to protect the computer and keep it healthy. Same thing on a laptop, especially when it's only got so much room. I've used this laptop for hours. And the only time I had any concerns whatsoever about warmth was my wife's laptop, which is the exact identical model, doing the stream yesterday, and it's kind of where I got it. It was on top of a case box, an 011 dynamic extra large box, and so the box gave a little bit, and it was just kind of seated down onto the cardboard. That's on me. That's not on the laptop. So I had to come up with something flat to put up there. You'd think I'd know, but anyway. Does it get loud? Yes. If it has to dissipate the heat off the components, it will get a little bit loud. It's not going to stay loud. Once it gets enough heat off and it's dissipated, the sound will come back down. And if you're doing something that's going to push a laptop like that, you're going to be aware of it anyway. So, summary. I've tried not to get into benchmarks. In fact, I've avoided them. I've got them done. It's going to be another video. It's going to be the upgrade video because I found out something interesting. I have not gotten into typical what streamers get into. I'm not interested in that. My focus is function. Will this work for my needs? And if it will work for my needs, because I have such a wide, varied, I guess you say, skill set, then I'm going to be aware this probably going to be useful for the most of the people watching this video, the vast majority of you. I recommend it. They didn't pay me to say that. I turned it on. The first thing I said is, wow. I don't say wow. I've been doing computers for 30 some years. I've seen it pretty much all. And so when I turn it on and go, wow. Anyway, like I was saying, I recommend this. I said, wow. I was impressed. Is it the best? No. And I didn't expect it to be. I wanted to be able to serve the purposes I needed to do. Am I going to be processing video on here all the time? No. My wife and I do travel. And I am going to need to be able to do videos. And so this will serve that purpose. Allow me to stream whatever I will do. It has what it needs. It is very perceptive. Well, let's say it this way. It's perceptibly very fast. As you saw, boots in 20 seconds. That's a cool thing. I have benchmarks to show you just how fast this little guy is. It's moderately light at 5 pounds. That's one of the specs I did not give you. It only weighs 5 pounds. And some people say, oh, wow, 5 pounds. That's like 20%, 5% of my body weight. That's not a consideration, obviously. It has enough under the hood to satisfy most of the needs of most professionals, or many professionals. You can game on it to a certain extent. I'm not going to say you can go competition gaming with it. That's a whole nother planet. But you will be able to throw most AAA games that are current right now and throw it on here and play and actually have some fun and enjoy it. Everyone from a gamer, teenager, whatever, sitting in a room. And though I've seen some 16-year-old hackers that will surprise you. We'll talk about some of that later. But all the way up to a boardroom executive. It's stylish enough. It looks nice. You can probably get covers on this if you're not up to the PUF that looks like a bird. Looks nice. I already showed you it's firm enough. I'm shaking it around everything. I don't want to think about it. This Bestbuy configuration, I feel for $7.99, it's kind of hard to pass it up. In fact, I didn't, and I went through quite a bit through Best Buy's bot system through this holiday season. If you're trying to buy AMD or NVIDIA 3000 series, you know what I'm talking about. That's why I've got a 24-hour stream going right now trying to help people do that. And though my review is subjective, as I've already said, these are my expectations. These are the things that I look for. To my subjective experience, it's the single fastest, most enjoyable laptop I've ever owned. It's really that simple. And like I said earlier, that includes $3,000 Dell laptops, which are gaming laptops. This is so much more enjoyable. That thing weighed 11 pounds or something. I mean, it was crazy. In the next video, I'm going to show you some benchmarks of what happened when I did different things with the system. And I'm going to explain what I did and how I did and how I upgraded it. I didn't do any crazy soldering. I'm not Steve at Gamers Nexus or DeBauer or any of those guys. This is stuff that anybody probably could do if you just take your time, you're patient with it. You can probably do everything I'm going to do in our next video. I'm also going to, now here's a little bit of a spoiler, a little bit of a tease. I installed Microsoft Windows. It comes with Windows, but I'll explain all that later. So I wiped it to make sure there's no bloat. Asus doesn't give you bloat. Dell and some of the other ones need to learn that. We don't want the bloat. We don't want to have to work at getting it ready to use. We just want to pick it up, turn it on, and go. This is a pick it up, turn it on, and go system. Well, let it charge first, but still. But I found some interesting things when I was doing the updates and I was installing drivers, and I found significant, simple ways of dramatically increasing the speed of the system, which I'm going to test again on my other towers, on my other systems. So anyway, here's till next video. Keep doing your stuff. Keep looking around. Keep finding new ways of looking at stuff and perceiving the things that are around you and how you can use it and how it can be a benefit to your life. Thank you.